Wang. Hello, I'm Hobby Jackal and this is Rumour Wang, an irregular series charting the latest rumours and predictions for Warhammer Fantasy stuff. Adepticon, an American hobby event running for more than 2 decades, will be hosting the next Warhammer Preview on the 26th or 27th of March, depending on which side of the pond you're on. In this video, I'll be taking an informed punt on what we might see, and an early disclaimer if you like your Warhammer spiced up with a bit of dystopian sci-fi. I'll not be covering 40k and 30k stuff here. However, word on the street is that knobbly Tyrannid chunklet will be included in a Kill Team box featuring Tyrannids and Servitors. 40k will feature multiple flavours of Chaos Space Marine, and I wouldn't be shocked, although it's not included on the image, that Horus Heresy Next Edition may feature at the end as a little teaser. Why not? So this video is not going to feature my usual image-heavy editing style because, this video is going to be redundant in a couple of days. It's nearly the event. So on with the show, this video is split into 3 parts. Firstly, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, then Warhammer The Old World, then a wildcard sneak peek. Let's crack on. So Warhammer Age of Sigmar, I'm going to be chatting about 2 things. There's new stuff for Spearhead supposedly incoming, and we've actually got a functioning roadmap, so when we're talking about what's coming next, we have a really good idea. So let's start there. Coming up next are Idoneth Deepkin and Nighthaunt. A rumour sharer called Whitefang has a really reliable track record, but sort of speaks in code. Whitefang pops up on forums, liking, laughing, looking confused, basically just using single emojis to respond to wild guesses on the internet. Piece together enough of these and you have a broad idea of what's coming. The Nighthaunt, according to a whole wedge of different emojis, are expected to simply get a hero model this time. This used to be fairly standard. You get a battle tome, the minimum you're going to get is a little hero character model plonked alongside it. Also not uncommon, terrain, spells, and spearhead boxes. Now the Nighthaunt already have their spells and they've just got their terrain alongside Soulblight Gravelords. Or I'd say just got, they're actually still waiting to release those, but they should be here any minute now. Checking out the rumour engines, we've had some ghostly appendages for quite a while that I've chatted about on this channel already. Looking like we're getting some ghosty thing that's an alchemist type character, potentially with multiple arms, which we have seen before for the Nighthaunt. Not hanging about getting onto the wet elves, it's a different story there. We are expecting a bit more. For the Idoneth, rumours suggest we will be getting manifestations and at least 3 kits. One of those is supposedly likely to be a hero, one supposedly a 5-person elite infantry type thing, and then I don't know about the third one, hopefully some big thing or just another little crab would be cool. Alongside this battle tome, probably an army box, because we've been seeing those again, Soulblight, Gloomspite Gits, and probably a Spearhead. After this, thanks to the wonder of roadmaps, we then have Khorne, Kharadron Overlords, and Flesh Eater Courts. And they're expected to go on a hero, a bit more stuff, hero pattern, but we'll chat about those a bit more in a future Rumour Wang video. After that, Chaos Dwarfs, if they don't appear in Underwolds before then. Additionally, for Age of Sigmar at some point in the near future, so potentially shown at Adepticon, we're supposed to be getting a new Spearhead book. First of those was Fire and Jade. I'd love to see this again as a new pack featuring terrain and cards, although that's not been specified. But what has been specified is that we're going to be getting 4 new Spearhead boxes. These are for Cities of Sigmar, Ossiarch Bonereapers, Ogor Mawtribes, and Seraphon. The rumour here is quite specific and came from Whitefang Back Me Up, not to be confused with Whitefang. Whitefang Back Me Up is named after Whitefang as a renowned rumourer, but tends to be much more specific in their posts and has an excellent recent track record, chatting about Gloomspite Gits, Doomdivers, the Soulblight Gravelords, Zombie Dragon, and a load of the Skaven that came in the new launch box. Whitefang Back Me Up has specified that there are going to be no new models in these Spearheads, but some will feature Warhammer Underworld's miniatures. It's worth reminding people that a couple of Spearheads do exist for a number of the ranges and both are legal, so don't assume that this is getting rid of a much beloved existing box. Also, do not expect battle tomes alongside these. As far as we're aware, these are coming down the line, and it almost seems as if these boxes have been specifically chosen to offer something up for those armies which aren't coming along for a little bit longer. So for Warhammer The Old World, we also have a roadmap that makes logical sense. And for those that haven't been paying attention to these things, the one before was a bit weird. Next up, of course, we have Beastmen. We've already seen the resin character and his gribbly little mate. As is tradition for Warhammer The Old World, it's leaked online, blisters appear on eBay all over the place for lots of things that haven't been released, and we're showing the packaging, naming Kralmor the Prophet of Ruin. Notably, rumours suggest that the armies of infamy within their particular book are going to focus on Minotaurs, and another one called Call of the Wild. Now, the Beastmen have a fantastic plastic range, which sadly recently exited Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We can expect almost all of that to return, however each time there are some surprises along the way. Rumours have hinted that the Praeton will be making a return from Forge World, alongside the faction terrain of the Beast, the Herdstone, which is a fantastic mini, or biggie. Because it's also bloody obvious, I'd be shocked if we didn't see something else. Now, the exciting news is that Cathay is clearly coming, because part of this image is taken from a bit of Cathay and artwork. But Wood Elves are up next, and within the Forces of Fantasy book, there is an image of a Spellsinger or Spellweaver with a little dude. And what we found in Warhammer The Old World is that they've included this artwork throughout multiple times for miniatures they've released. Just been sat there in plain sight. They've just gone, hey, have a look at this stuff. Nah. So it's highly likely that this is going to appear as a resin miniature for Wood Elves, with the little dude on a little separate base. Now, the left field guess as well that we might be seeing a hint of something for Cathay, with rumours suggesting around 12 kits, kind of matching the lineup of Warhammer Total War, which as far as rumours go, it could be an accurate rumour, or it could just be common sense because they've done all the design work. Welcome to my wildcard section. This exists purely because 4 things are mentioned on the image for this particular preview event. There's usually a lot more. Previously, they have been criticised quite openly on the internet for listing a couple of things where there would be some kind of sneak preview, and it really was like a little tease, like a bit of a planet or some silhouettes from Necromunda. So I reckon there's gonna be some small stuff relating to something else. So I said at the very start, for the 40k, 30k fans that stumbled upon this video accidentally, not realising that I don't care so much about that. Horus Heresy is due a new edition. A lot of these games run on 3-year cycles. That one's due now. Chapter Master Valrak, who covers a lot of those kind of rumours, is chatting a lot about it. It seems to be a genuine thing that's happening. Now, if you follow those cycles and you like a skirmish game that's particularly close to my heart, Warcry, you'd also know that this is the year that's due its 3rd edition, as rumours seem to suggest that Horus Heresy is hitting in early summer. If Warcry were to land, I would assume it would be late summer, which would match previous offerings, with I think Heart of Gur arriving around October time and being previewed around May. Additionally, there's loads and loads of fun rumours which are deserving of a whole other video, which will follow at some point soon. But I've chatted previously, Warhammer Underworlds, there's a couple of new warbands coming. We've been told by somebody who got all the other warbands right that one of those is going to be Chaos Dwarfs, of which the warband doesn't comprise entirely Chaos Dwarfs, and one of them is going to be Crephusa or Crone-themed Daughters of Cain. Now, if there's Chaos Dwarfs as a warband, I imagine this will precede the main army. They've done this a number of times with Warhammer Underworlds. They could sneak it in here, or April Fool's Day, April 1st is just around the corner. That's how they tease the Votan, the return of the squats for 40k. Really wouldn't be shocking to see that there. Somebody else suggested it on the internet and it stuck with me. If they're not going to do that, it's a missed opportunity. They have a fascinating thing which has almost no chance of appearing at this preview. In fact, I think it's a really good contender for the developer diaries, where they show something years in advance. But this is something weird that's happened recently. Warhammer Community, or Warhammer TV, have mentioned Mordheim out of the blue a couple of times, and this isn't something they do. When a product is not for sale, it generally just goes really quiet, aside from occasionally where there's an article where they sort of trace back the lineage of artwork or a sculpt. It's curious. Now, there is some doomsaying suggesting that Warcry is going. I don't think that's the case, and I do hope that if Mordheim were to reappear, it would be its own thing, much more akin to Necromunda. Well, this has gone off tangent anyway. I'm not expecting those to appear at the preview, but I wouldn't be shocked if there is something at the end not relating to the 4 main systems, probably Horus Heresy, maybe Underworlds, hey, maybe even a new tease of Warcry, but I think if that's happening, it's going to be a bit down the line, probably May earliest. So that's it from me. If you want to hear more about this stuff or help the channel, you can like and subscribe, entirely up to you. And thank you for sticking around. Take care, goodbye.